know what I was doing. Don't be the schools that are running in circles. You have got to take this seriously. You've got to recognize there's so much opportunity right now to grow. So anyway, I'll give it back to you, but I had to tell that story because please don't be the person running in a circle that's caught later, embarrassed.
Yeah, so we hope to give some good information on this webinar. And let me first introduce the guy who's been talking the most. This is Rob Thatcher. Rob Thatcher is a beauty school admissions consultant. He owns a company called SalesCom, and he has been doing sales trainings and has had sales experience for the past 25 years.
Yeah.
Rob works with admissions reps in beauty schools, both over the phone and in person. And so we've invited Rob to be with us today because admissions is up in the air now.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of schools are wondering what to do, where they're at, what should they be doing.
Yeah.
And so we felt it would be important to discuss this with our network and just the beauty schools out there, just to provide as much helpful, free information as possible. We're all in this together. So let's talk about the state of admissions right now. A lot of people don't know what's going on. You have the whole no enroll rule. You have schools applying for distance learning. They're getting approved. What do we do? What do we do with admissions? So let's talk about the state of admissions right now. We have a lot of questions out there.
There's a ton of questions, and we'd love to hear them. If you have them on here, please. It looks like, can you please start the webinar now? This has been an 8 minute of nonsense so far. Oh, that one hurt my feelings a little bit, but that's okay. We want to make sure everybody's on. Again, if we're looking for something super serious, that's probably not going to be your cup of tea. Look, here, let's talk really fast about that. One of the things that we have found right now is a lot of these schools are just not taking it seriously. One of the questions that just is, what is the no enroll rule, right? People are confused on that. Now, we got to be really careful because whatever we share now could be outdated 10 minutes from now, right? So I know everybody over there is just shaking their head going, yep, yep, yep. I'm sure you're seeing that. So here's what we understand the rule to be. We spoke with 6 or 7 different owners today, department that have spoken recently to the Department of Education. You can enroll people, you just cannot enroll people for online distance learning, right? So if you have a start date April 25th, pulling a number out of my ear here, if you have that right now, keep that and enroll them, right? So now a lot of this is going to this point. There are rules that are state by state, right? There are certain regulations. You need to be speaking to your attorneys. You need to be speaking to the powers that be. But from what we're understanding, that one's fairly consistent. Again, we're not attorneys. That people are still enrolling, and your admissions people need to be enrolling if at all possible. So if you don't know the answer to that for sure for your state, your objective today before 5 o'clock is to figure that out if at all possible. What are the rules? The online distance learning is, from what we understand, we cannot enroll for that, but we certainly can get a list of enrollments for people who want to start at our next start date in person.
Yes. So, and I know that you have talked to several schools about that, and some of this has been confirmed with people on the board for AACS. This has been confirmed with a few people at Duane Morris. This is kind of what we know so far right now. So obviously schools are in a position where they should still be getting some leads, although that's going to be dying down. We're seeing that already with Oozle Media. We've had a percentage decrease in the amount of impressions, and I'm just talking about Google search. So people aren't searching as much. What they're doing is they're spending time on social media.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I can share some of those numbers, and maybe I should chat them in there, but so you're still getting leads. You still want to be having conversations.
Yep.
You can enroll for future class start dates.
Yep.
So let's talk about those conversations. That's really what this webinar should be. We should be discussing, how do we handle virtual tours?
Right.
How do we handle these leads right now?
Right.
What are our conversations with them? What are our questions to them?
Well, wait, one thing at a time here, and I want to give you a quick tip of advice. There are some of the states right now who they are not even allowed back in their schools, or at least it is strongly suggested they do not go back in their schools. That will probably happen to you. If you're listening to us right now and you are not allowed back in your school, then what I'm going to tell you is, or if you are allowed back in your school right now, what you need to do is get back in your school and create some sort of virtual tour, right? So you grab a cell phone, tour the school, explain which thing is which. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, well, listen, it's boring. It's empty. Right, because everybody's quarantined. So don't sit and say, well, it's not going to be perfect because it's going to be dead and boring. It's better than nothing. Create that content right now while you can still get in your school so that when people reach out to you next week. Now, look, we know that there's a reduction in leads right now nationwide. There is a reduction in leads at this moment. But I'm going to tell you right now that that is going to change. For all indications show that's going to change. And let me give you an example because I think it's important to have hope right now. Again, some of you want just hard, meat and potatoes. I'm going to give you just one example of why I think that this is going to come just roaring back. Think about the industries that are hurt most right now, right? One of the industries is restaurants. A lot of those people just laid off, right? Well, we pull a lot of our people. If you go to cosmetology schools, if you go to, if you look at aesthetic schools, a lot of these people are being pulled from servers, hostess. All of these people a lot of people just out of jobs. And so they're going to start to sit home and they're going to sit home and go, gosh, what do I want to do with my life? And they're going to be looking online. You need to have a presence there. You need to be able to speak to those people. Right now, those people are still scared right now. They may be running in a circle like my friend. By next week, hopefully it'll be calmed down and we're going to be able to start getting those people in. I'm telling you right now, this industry is going to come back roaring. It is there for all indications. Who knows what the future's going to hold, but I can tell you right now, all indications show within weeks or a couple months, this thing is going to be lit on fire. So please don't sit back and go, oh, woe is me, it's not going to be good. This is actually going to be good. And it's forcing us to do some of the online learning that everybody kind of put off. That's great too. So make sure that I want to make sure that you understand, you've got to have a good tour, right? So if we're going to be doing virtual tours, get that content right now. If you're still back in your schools, you can get back in your school. If you cannot get back in your schools, go on your website and look what resources you have. Reach out to people that may have that content, get that content and have it ready. Have your admissions people have that content ready to be able to convey in a virtual tour.
Yeah, and I think at the very least, and shout out to Sarah, a friend of mine, I saw that she did this with her school this morning. You at least have to let your followers and users know that you are doing virtual tours.
Right.
Hey, everybody, we're doing virtual tours. And so let's talk about technology.
Yeah.
How are we going to do this?
So this is a big one, right? How do we communicate with people? One, in my world, the easiest one is if they have an iPhone, you're doing a FaceTime, right? That's the easiest one. Now, there is one problem with that. Ideally, honestly, it would probably be a Zoom over that, because if we have content that we want to share with them, we can split between holding a camera on our laptop, right, and footage that's playing on our laptop, showing. So ideally, we'd be able to show footage, right, of the school, and then pop it back to our face. I can't stress the importance that we need to give people a sense of normalcy, and that sense of normalcy is seeing another person, sitting there communicating face to face. So try not to do phone tours if at all possible. I think that's a mistake. It needs to be a visual representation of you, and that's really important. So the other option is a Facebook chat live, right? A Facebook video chat. That's easy. Almost all these folks are going to have Facebook. They're going to be able to communicate in that way. If you can't do a Zoom or it just doesn't work, you need to do that. I need to tell you though, right today before you close, another action item I'm going to give you. You better do a dry run through all of these options, right? FaceTimes, you need to be running through, and if you have a Zoom or a Join Me, you need to be running through making sure everybody has passwords and knows how to do all of that. WhatsApp is another one. So I mean, that's huge. So those dry runs are important.
Would it be safe to say your virtual tour should be done through whatever mode the lead is most comfortable with?
Yeah, and that's the way that you would start the conversation, is what's the best way. Let's say you have a call center that's answering and scheduling, then what you would do is have that call center ask, what's the best way for you to do a virtual tour? Ask them, put it in the notes, but make sure that you're ready for whatever they say. Again, Facebook, Instagram, Zoom, Join Me, FaceTime, whatever that is. Google Chat is another one. That's huge, really easy to do. But you should dry run through all of those. Don't let them catch you off guard where they're like, here, this is the way I want to do it. and you just haven't tried it. Make sure admissions people, you're ready for all those. And you should be writing these down, by the way. If you're in admissions, you should be writing this down and be dry running through it before the end of the day, because next week it's going to get hot.
So I'm just looking at the chat, and I think a lot of people are still confused about the no enroll rule and the starts. Obviously, we know that we cannot enroll anybody into our distance learning education right now.
That's what we're hearing, yeah. That may change, though. Who knows? By next week, that may change. I wouldn't anticipate it, but you never know.
If you have a class start date, let's say mid-April, you can still enroll people in that class start date, given everybody's going to be back in the schools.
Right. Subject to change.
Yes. No. So let's talk about this. So some schools are actually still open.
Right.
Students are still going to school. There was a question about, what about a one-on-one tour? If somebody does want to come to the school still, do we give them a tour?
Actually, I'd like to address the more important question by Sarah Holmes. She's asking, will we be serving chocolate chip cookies today? And the answer is absolutely we will. But yeah, I mean, there are schools. I have spoken to so many schools, and half of them are still open for having a tour in, and the other half are like, no, we've closed it down. Everybody's working from home. Admissions people, I'm going to speak to you. Can I just tell you, this is not a vacation time. Like, you should be busier now than you've ever been. I mean, and that's not hyperbole. I'm dead serious. There is so much to do. And before this is over, I'm going to give you a list of things that you can be doing while, if you're at home remotely or if you're sitting in your office. Ideally, though, look, here's the deal. Would I still have people into my school right now to do a tour? If your school is still open and you're comfortable with that, yes. Now, if the admissions person is the only person in the school, no, you should have 2 or 3 people at least, for liability reasons. Don't put that person in them by themselves. That would be ridiculous, right? So, but if you, as long as you have 2 or 3 people and you're comfortable with that and they're comfortable with that, then yes, you should still be doing a tour. And again, don't give me any of the crap that, yeah, but it's dead in there. Everybody knows that there's a dang quarantine. They're expecting it. It's okay. But virtual tours, other than that, we do virtual tours.
Okay, so you have somebody, let's say they've got an iPhone, you've got an iPhone, we're going to do a FaceTime virtual tour. You're an admissions rep, you're in the school. Mm-hmm. Or how is it different from being in the school and or you're at home?
So, look, as far as how it's different, there's a bunch of things that are, obviously different, right? But then there's some things that I think we think are different and aren't. And again, I'm going to look like directly into the camera and say this. You better get a commitment out of somebody before they get off the phone. Or why did you do the virtual tour? As much as we try to be entertaining right now and we got scolded for it, I don't know who that was, but I'm going to give them a hard time later. But hurt my feelings. Look, you're not there to entertain. And so what you are there to entertain and make them have fun and enjoy it. And to Stephanie said that yesterday, hey, entertain people. You are. But the ultimate objective of that tour is to get some sort of commitment. If it is approved that you can enroll, which again, most states are, from what we've talked to, I think we talked to 6 different states today, enroll them. Figure out a way. By the way, here's something new, right? You should have some sort of portal on your website to be able to accept an application fee, right? If you don't have that, maybe that's Venmo. Maybe you do, again, PayPal. I know Oozle, they spoke to their, in fact, you maybe want to talk about that for just a second.
Yeah, so our clients who are wanting to get some sort of commitment, right?
Yeah.
If you can get somebody to commit through a virtual tour, you create that urgency, right? You're like saying, we're going to have a big demand. These classes are filling up to get your position, your seat for our next start date, whether that be May or end of April. Get them to pay an application fee. But some schools, so we're working with our clients to get a payment portal on their website. So it's a form. They're just creating a PayPal account, and then that prospective student who wants to pay that application fee, they'll go on there, fill it out. It's a fixed fee. They put in their credit card information, and boom, we have that commitment. So for any school that needs, if you want help with that, you can. I'll chat my email here. You can email me directly. It's $500. We can get your website working so that people can submit a payment for like an application fee.
Yeah, and look, that is going to be essential, because here, and we're going to be creating scripts for all of this, and we'll chat my email address and you can communicate with me. We're going to be doing trainings next week on how to handle these virtual tours, how to handle the calls and all of that. But look, when people say, hey, I need to hold off, right? I need to hold off. I'm not sure what's going to happen with this whole virus thing. I need to hold off. Maybe they've already signed a contract. Maybe they've only considered it. Maybe they won't come in, won't even talk about a tour because they're getting a little scared about that. You need to flip that around and say it is because of this that this is a great time. And then tell them, look, in the next couple of months, my industry anticipates that we are going to see an influx, a jump in students. And again, all indications show that. We could be wrong, but the chances of that are very low. The chances are really high that we are going to see an influx. And so when people say that, we need to help them to understand that if you push this off right now, you may be in an August class because our others are full. Now, I know that that may just sound like pie in the sky, rainbows and rose-colored glasses. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a huge jump. Once this thing is released, all these people have been considering going back to school that got laid off. They're going, you know what? That job was stunk anyway. I need to get back into school. And there's going to be a list of people. You need to, if at all possible, you need to get those commitments, putting down that registration or application fee. Again, check your state laws and all those things so that you save spots in those classes. When people try to put it off, you go, you know what? Just so you know, we've already filled up this class, the April class, and the May class. June is next, and we're close. So if you're not doing any of that, just know that you don't really have any urgency. What is your urgency? Well, we're going to play it by the skin of our neck, and we'll hope it pans out. No, get signatures, and if they have to be wet signatures, for heaven's sakes, mail people in the snail mail. I don't see that closing down anytime soon. Mail it out to them, have them sign it, give it a prepaid stamped envelope, have them send it back. Get that money though from them, the commitment.
Okay. So what we are learning and what's being confirmed is students are loving virtual tours. They love the option.
Yeah.
They're staying home. They love the idea that they can tour school, talk to somebody, but they can do it safely in their own home.
Yeah.
So we've got somebody on FaceTime. What is our conversation like? Obviously, it's a little bit different because times are different. How do we handle that conversation? How do we make them feel comfortable and confident that we're an establishment and that we are going to be open when all of this calms down? We're going to be offering classes and great education. What is our conversation like? What are some tips for admissions reps to get a commitment? We did talk about an application commitment, but anyways, what are our conversations look like?
Well, first of all, what you want to do is make sure they're comfortable showing their face, right? And so don't force that issue when you schedule the appointments. If you're taking what I talked about earlier, if you have a call centers don't force the issue of having to do for them to see something. But for you to be able to see them, but they should be able to see you. And so make that's the first thing. I think is really important to make sure they don't feel like they have to show their face. When you see it, so what do the conversations look like? We have scripts for all of that, right? How do these conversations to get them agreeing to an appointment, a virtual tour, what do those look like? I think logistics are the hard part right now, right? In other words, when we take a phone call, do we schedule the tour right then, that virtual tour? Do we just do it right then? I would say you probably, if you can, great. I think it's going to get busy enough where that's not going to be possible. And I hope I'm right. Obviously, I hope I'm right on that. But I don't think that's going to be possible. So you're going to have to schedule them out. And so how long do those things go? I probably wouldn't push it because it's virtual. I probably wouldn't push it past 35 minutes unless you're really, again, doing all the documentation and moving people to the next level and getting money and application fees and things like that. So those that's it. But the answer is it should go exactly the same way as the phone call did. For heaven's sakes, control the conversation. We know at about 8.5 minutes. There won't be a hold time, so about 8.5 minutes is how long an admissions call should last. That research has been done over and over and over. These people are less likely to show up for an admissions tour that is virtual. So understand your no-show rate will actually go higher during this time because they didn't have to leave. It's a low barrier to entry. So make sure that you're following scripting. If you don't have scripting, again, reach out to us. I do trainings on how to get people to show up for those tours.
Okay, so let's maybe talk about that a little bit. Obviously, okay. It's one thing to get somebody to show up to a tour to your school.
Yeah.
It's one thing to get somebody to be calling it at the right time to have this virtual tour. I know that admissions reps love to text.
Yeah.
And leads love to text.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to be doing that. So what are some strategies via text? How do we get somebody to actually show up for a virtual tour?
Well, one of the things that you don't do, and again, this research has been done over and over and over, and I need to make very clear what I'm about to say. texting is fantastic. It is the best way to get a hold of somebody. It is not the best way to schedule somebody, okay? Now, if you are going to schedule them via text, fine, okay, but you still need to have a conversation with them before the appointment time. So you would confirm, you'd call and have a conversation with them, confirm their appointment after the text. But the idea of the text is to get them on the phone. We've shown it over and over and over and over. Now, again, if you're going to confirm with them and have a conversation before they come in, then that will solidify it, and that text appointment is fine. If you're just going to text out a confirmation, your show rate will drop by, we've seen on average between 20 and 30% based on that one action alone. You don't text does not, you don't schedule text or chat, which brings up another point. I hope that all of you have chats on your websites. If you don't have chats on your website, you need to get chats on your website. I know Oozle offers that. We have it. There's something that's going, as people are sitting home in their jammies, it's low barrier to entry. Remember, they don't have to make a call. Now you can say, well, Rob, I have text. Great, have both. But those chats need to be installed on your website like tomorrow if you don't have it.
Yeah. So downtime. Let's talk about downtime with admissions reps. Let's say they're at home, there's some downtime. What should they be doing?
So downtime. I'm going to list it. I took a little, it's a set of notes here.
Oh,
right. Yeah. And Marley, my other trainer, she came up with a lot of these things. She did admissions for years, was a superstar, phenomenal. So anyway, she put some of these things together too, and I love her for it. So one, you should be going through your CRM and cleaning it out. Okay. Clean out your CRM, get rid of all the old stuff. Make sure you understand what the protocols are for flushing people, but try to get a hold of everybody and clean your CRM out. That's a big one, and it's such an easy one to do. It takes a little bit of time. You've probably got time, or at least you think you do. After this webinar, you won't, but that's one. Catch up on overdue tasks. Here's my concern. If we don't catch up on the overdue tasks right now, then what's going to happen is when it gets really busy and as we're coming back, you will not get to things that are on your tasks right now. You're not going to get to them. They will just fly under the radar. So you just kiss all those things goodbye. You need to be working on any overdue tasks. So that's a big one.
So let's pause. We had a question. So what is a CRM?
What's CRM? So your CRM is customer retention management is what I always say the acronym is for. Everybody has different things, but essentially it's where your leads go, right? Someone calls in, you put your lead in there. It reminds you, you can set it to remind you to call them. It's where all their information is. And it's a big thing. There's things like Salesforce. You can Google Salesforce. There's a lot of them out there that are fantastic. So definitely you should have CRM. If you don't have a CRM, that would be where I would invest money immediately, is into a CRM. Anyway,
continue the list.
All right, here we go. Here's the list. Stay in contact with people that have contacted or contracted already, right? Existing people who've already contracted. We are seeing some schools that are canceling, that people have canceled their contracts, right? That has got to stop. One of the reasons that happens is because they get scared. They're running in circles, like my earlier story, right? Don't let them run in circles. Calm them down. Reach out to them. Tell them you love them. Show them that you care, and that's going to really mean a lot to them. That would be one of the priorities, is to keep those people entertained and loved and full of information, which we're going to talk about some things that we can give to them, that we can do with them here in just a minute. But those people need to be reached out to. Here's another one. Consider planning a general open house for all of your leads who have not toured, and all the future leads who will inquire and cannot tour due to schools being closed, right? So
so we're talking about an open house.
I'm talking about an open house, like for the two kinds.
A virtual one, or
two kinds. A virtual open house where you have, hey, we're going to hold an open house, a virtual open house. We're going to be showing images of the school, going over questions and answers. Why not have an open house like that? It'd be fantastic, easy to do too. I would use Facebook Live for that. But again, whatever you want to use, you should do that. Also, scheduling an open house for when you open, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people, again, looking for low barrier of entry where they may not want a one-on-one scenario. Be creating that open house like now. Start be thinking about that and creating and say, what do we want to do, right? So that's another one. High school program. Any input, any prospective lead cards that have been piling up into your CRM. Follow-up, and I'm just reading notes here. Conduct follow-ups with these leads and schedule tasks for them according to your strategy, right? So that's a big one. Going through your CRM to follow up with high school leads. These high schools, they got nothing going on. I've got kids right now. I've got a middle schooler right now. It's just killing her to sit in the house. We limit how much time she can be on her phone and things. But man, that's so easy. You know, I know she's young, but a lot of these kids they're just sitting there. I mean, that target, those seniors, we can get out to them, get in front of them really easy. And again, we'll talk about things that we can do with them. Placement, now's a perfect time to go through and work on your school's placement, right? Reach out to graduates on the phone, text, social media, track their placement. Just reach out to them and tell them you love them, you're concerned about them, ask how they're doing. Oh, and by the way, how's job? Now, I know that I recognize that some people are going to say things like, yeah, but they may have just been laid off because, you know, in our state, they're not even allowing any beauticians. I realize that. But that's going to change. You think everybody's just going to go on with having horrible hair? You think everybody just wants their roots for the next forever? No, it's going to be one of the first things to come back is this industry. People coming back and getting their hair done after being hibernating like a bear in their cave. So it's going to come back hard. Reassure them of that. Get on the phone and reassure them that. Get the placement information. Social media. This is one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I know Chris obviously wants to talk about. I'm drying out. I know I talk a lot and I talk fast. It's because I was scolded earlier. Rob, you're not going to let that go, are you? Wait, there's a... Okay. I swear I won't do that again. Look, here's the thing is social media, this time is the time to take social media seriously. If you don't have a real coherent plan for social media, and if your plan is, well, I'm just going to I don't have time to do any of it, we're not going to do anything. I'm going to tell you right now, consider your market share gone because there will be other schools that do it. You have got to take it seriously. You got to put a plan together. One of the suggestions that we made, and I know Stephanie made it yesterday too, is to create an instructional video and question and answer style video about training on a particular topic. So if you wanted to do beach waves, right? Hey, and your admissions people, you should be promoting this, right? It's going to be a 15-minute class on blowouts. It's going to be on smoky eyes. Whatever it is, it's a 15-minute, maybe 20-minute training, super easy that you start to build up. Your instructors, they're probably not as busy as maybe they were, right? And so what I would do, an actionable item I'm going to give you right now, reach out to those instructors right now, ask them to create 20 videos, or 20 topics that they could teach that would be 10 or 15-minute videos, and start creating them, 2, maybe 3 a week, right? They're quick, they're easy. People have nothing going on. By next week, people are going to get real cabin fever, and you can market that easily. Like, hey, still been in your jammies for 3 weeks, you can still look gorgeous, right? Here's how you do it. Here's what we're doing. We're going to go on, coronavirus hairdos. That coronavirus hairdos. That doesn't. No, we shouldn't do that. All right, that's a bad idea. But either way, you should do some sort of instructional videos. Keep that content just rolling out, and don't worry about, well, Rob, it's not going to look good. It's coming from my house. Don't have messy dishes in the background, for heaven's sakes. But don't let the enemy. What is the enemy of? I've said it a couple times. The enemy of good is perfect, right? We just worry about everything being too perfect, and it never gets done. No, create some content. Now's the time.
Yeah, and a lot of what was said on the webinar yesterday was, you've got a lot of blogs that you can repurpose and create Instagram stories. Now's the time to create the content that you've always been wanting to create.
Yeah.
And you mentioned instructors, and a lot of schools are applying for and receiving distance learning, which is great. I know that there are a lot of different laws as far as like the percentage. And if you do have questions about that, chat them in there, chat your questions. We want to build a community here where we want to help each other out. So if you have questions on distance learning, where to apply, please put that in there so that people can know. For that, so obviously if somebody is going to be learning, an instructor needs to be involved. As far as what I've heard, the requirements, instructor needs to be involved. They can't just watch a bunch of videos. And so shameless plug here. So yesterday on the social media webinar, we were talking after, and what we want to do as a business. So our side business is beauty as a business. It's right now it's 20 hours of social media marketing curriculum for beauty school students. What Beauty as a Business is going to do, and we're going to put the word out there, is any beauty school in the country, we're going to give 10 hours of free curriculum. So that comes with teacher lesson plans. These are short videos, quizzes, worksheets. And so if I'm a school and I'm putting together my list of things that the students are going to be learning, because it's theory only,
Right.
that for distance learning, is here's 10 hours that you don't have to think about.
Yeah.
It's free. It's social media marketing. The 2 modules that we're going to release are Google reviews, which is huge for beauty schools. That's something that we have been teaching and preaching for over 5 years. The beauty schools who have the most Google reviews in the market tend to get the majority of the traffic and the leads convert at a higher rate. You get the sale before you get the click, because here's the thing is, a high percentage of people, 90% of people, are going to read reviews before they visit a school. And so you have to have a strategy there. So that's a 3-hour just on videos alone on that training. It's a training that I've been going into schools. So we've recorded that. We have all of those videos available for free for beauty schools.
But they have 10 hours of content. You're saying 3 hours for just that portion.
Just that portion,
But
just for videos. Yes.
Okay.
And then the other module, as part of the 10 hours, is we have 10 videos on how to take the right photo and video for social media editing. I mean, we're talking lighting, we're talking different software to edit. And so those are all going to be free.
Even if it doesn't count for hours, why wouldn't you still give your people, the people that are home, if you have an approved distant learning, why wouldn't you just start to share that anyway?
No, yeah. Right? I mean, especially if it's free, but it will count. It will count. So schools all over the country are using it right now for their curriculum. And so that's something that we're going to offer. I'll put the link in the chat there so everybody has that. Beautyasabusiness.com. If you go there, you fill out the demo request. Let us know if you want to be a school that wants to offer that for free for your students. Again, 10 hours. We're just trying to help schools out here. And trying to be helpful. And so that's why we're having these webinars. That's why we're inviting guests like Rob to come on. Anything else that you want to say before we wrap this up?
Well, there's a couple questions. Should admissions reps be going? Let's see. Should admissions reps be going to their schools during shelter in place to work?
If it's a law,
obviously don't. No. But again, early, like I said, if there's already people there, if there's 2 or 3 people in the school, I would suggest being in the school if possible. And if not, adapt. But ideally, you'd be in the school. You'd be doing all those things from the school. One of the questions that Natalie asked, she said, "What platform is everyone using?"
For distance learning.
For distance learning, we'd love to, if you can start posting that right now. That'd be great.
Yeah, I know a lot of schools we're using Zoom right now. A lot of schools are using Zoom. You know,
Join Me is another one.
Their instructors are getting on there. A free one is Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
That's free. That you can use. You can do a screen share. There's a chat. There's conference phone calls. That's all free. It looks like we're getting responses. So somebody said they're going to be using Zoom, Microsoft Teams.
I use Mac, so that I don't know anything about that. I think she just made it up. Tracy, did you just make that up? Dang it. And for all I know, Tracy's the one that scolded me. Dang it, now she's going to be more mad. No, it's real. I was waiting for the flip off emoji.
Don't do that. Keep it clean.
Yeah, keep it clean. Let's see. We're using Ring Central. Yep. Hi there. This is a webinar. Be able to watch again. Sorry, it's been asked. It hasn't been asked. Will this be? I know you're recording it. Is this going to be available?
This is being recorded, and so we are going to email the link to everybody. It's going to be similar. If you look up in the chat thread, I'll post it again. We have a replay link to the social media webinar we did yesterday. So we're going to do the same thing. So within 24 hours, we're going to have this recording up on our website so that you can replay it and share it with others.
The first 8 minutes were the best, I felt like.
I actually didn't record the first 8 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So all of the nose jokes.
You missed them.
And hairline jokes.
Hairline jokes. It's not my fault that it's coming out rapidly. Listen, we got to keep focused here. Okay, so they're going to put that. Now, listen, one of the things that I need to make sure everybody, how many people do we still have on here? We got to, okay, good, we're doing well. All right, here, let me tell you something. You guys, now is the time to get focused and hone in on how well you do on the phones. People have to be engaged. The first thing that I'm going to be teaching everybody, please, oh, please, stay positive. Be the light to everybody. Don't be the person that comes on and whines and is woe is me and we're so scared. All this is going to end, and we're going to come out even stronger as not only an industry but a country. All of that you have to firmly believe. If you don't believe me, let me give you if you don't believe it, let me give you my email, rob@SalesCom, SalesComm, as in Michael. He's going to chat it right now. He's going to put it on. I will talk to you personally and cheer you up and tell you everything is going to be okay. And we just had an earthquake, and you can't beat that. Actually, Nashville could beat it. They had a tornado like 2 weeks ago, ripped out the whole thing. Wanda, if you're listening, you're the only one that can one-up us. But please be the light to people on the phones. Take these calls seriously. Slow down, connect with people, lift them up. It will bring you out of funk too, okay? Because we get in this like sort of, oh, and we just get, oh, I'm so scared. When you start to connect with people on the phones and you really listen to what they say and you really connect with them, you're going to find that all of a sudden you're happier. You're in a better place. You guys have such a great opportunity to be connecting with people. Take the time to connect with people. That 8.5-minute phone call. Don't just make a virtual appointment and hang up the phone. Ridiculous. I love it. Yes, she just said, Wanda just said, I am the light. You bet she is. If you don't know Wanda Woods, she's hilarious. And she does. Sometimes I call her just to have her make me laugh. She does every time. It's one of my good friends. I absolutely love her. Okay. We had other questions. So go ahead, Chris. This is your deal.
Let's see. How long will your 10 hours be available free for schools to take part in? As long as it'll be free until the entire country is ready and everybody's back in school as normal.
Cool.
As long as it needs to be.
Yeah.
So, okay. So here's what we're going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell people how else they can get a hold of you and give you an opportunity to, pitch your services, but I'm going to squeeze a nugget out of you first
Okay.
though.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
So, okay. So let's see. Somebody brings up price.
Ooh, price. Okay.
On a virtual tour. Hey, can I afford this? I just got laid off. Mm-hmm. What are my options? How much does it cost?
Okay. First of all, I won't pitch my services. I won't. You can reach out to me. I'll tell you how much training things cost, but I won't pitch them. What I will do is tell you. I'll give you the nuggets. When somebody calls and says, "Hey, how much does it cost?" This is what you should be saying. Out-of-pocket expense really depends on a couple of things. How familiar are you with the FAFSA? That's what you should be saying. You squash too many people, especially when money's tight right now. When you give people sticker shock, you could really blow up their dreams. I can give you a dozen stories where that happened and we backtraced it. There was a woman a couple hours away from us that story came along. She said, my daughter was always interested. She called in, found out it was $20,000 and just gave up her dream. And she goes, she hates her job. And she goes, that was 2 years ago. It's really frustrating that people think, well, if I just give price, what's the harm in that? When money's tight right now, I'm telling you right now, that is a problem. Someone just asked, hey, what do we do if they're cash pay? Reach out to me. That's actually something we have to war game a little bit. And now if they ask a second time, what do you do, right? Give them the price. If they ask a second time, give them the price. And we're not playing hide and seek here, but what their out-of-pocket expense is really what they care about. Let's be real about this for a second. It's what they don't care. It could be $10 million. If it costs them $20, they care about the $20. So anybody that thinks, well, and look, when you look at when you talk financial aid, how many people paid the same price out of pocket? Almost everybody's different. So it is a true statement. Out-of-pocket expense depends on a couple of things. How familiar are you with that? I'm talking fast. It's all recorded. We're trying to squeeze this in. Yeah. Anything? What else you got?
I don't know. Let's see. So
start dates. What about start dates?
Yeah.
Right now, start dates is a problem, right? What if they say, when's the next start date? What we're going to do is this is an adjustment from what we normally do. We have a normal script for that. Right now, we say we're still working on that. Here's our next start date. It's this. But then just say it's subject to change. That may change. But then go back into the urgency mode of, hey, look, whatever our next start date is going to fill up really quick. And so if you are interested in this and you're looking to start soon, and then I would ask them, how soon are you looking to start? They would tell me, and I would say, this is something we need to move on right now. If this is your dream and you want to do, I don't want to push you out until, what's potentially August. So that's adjustment from what we usually do. We have a normal script too. Okay. What else?
So what about this? I'm a school owner and I've laid off my staff. I'm waiting this thing out. People are going to start coming. We're teaching students out. We're doing distance learning the best that we can. And we're waiting this thing out. I don't have any admissions reps. I hire a new one when things start rocking and rolling again, which it will. How do we train these people? What are our resources?
First of all, if you've laid off your admissions staff, shame on you, because those folks, those are your people who are going to make you money, but you may not have been able to help it, and I get that. I haven't come across that yet. I've come across people that have laid a bunch of people off temporarily until the thing picks back up, but laying off admissions would be, I'd fire myself before I laid off admissions right now, simply because we have got to be taking names to get people built up. So when we come out of this thing, we come out stronger. If you're taking the calls yourself and you don't have admission staff, look, the only thing I can say is you better be getting commitments out of people. You better be getting commitments out of people. And that means, someone asked earlier, what kind of commitments? That means, again, if they can pay you, if your state allows that, they pay the application fee. That means I send them, I get signatures. If you have DocuSign, get digital ones. If not, then, wet signatures, mail it to them. Get some commitments.
Okay, so you're only one person, right? You mentioned you and Marley. You guys are your trainers. So if you guys are busy, do you have other resources? I know that you guys have sales training videos.
And so one of the things that we just created was right now we have videos on how to take the phone calls, how to control conversations, how to keep it interesting, how to make sure that you get the information that you need out of them, and most importantly, how to build a relationship. So we do have those videos. If you want to ask me about those, please shoot me an email. I'm also going to give my cell phone. I'm not scared of giving my cell phone out. I'm going to give it to you right now. You're welcome to text me, 801-979-0071. Text me, for heaven's sakes. People are so, you just gave your cell phone. This is what we do. We come together as a community, for heaven's sakes. So text me if you have any questions. Happy to help.
Any last questions that you have that you want to put on the chat before we end this thing?
Someone just said, and what, so we've got that one.
I wonder if we missed any.
How do I get the link? We got that one. Someone said they're using Ring Central. We told that. Microsoft Teams. She put a link in there. Hey, will you put that link? Microsoft Team. She put it in there right there, Tracy.
Yeah, it's there. People can click.
Oh, they can already see it. I'm sorry. I forget. I don't use this platform. I use Join Me.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, warning on Zoom. Make sure you adjust it so that if you're sending out Zoom links, that the person doesn't click on the link and it automatically turns their camera on. That can be very uncomfortable. Don't do that. Turn it off. Make it sure it's turned off so that it doesn't immediately hit them and embarrass them.
So if you have Zoom, you can pay for a webinar feature. So you can set those. Even without the webinar feature, you can still set that so their video doesn't.
And you can warn them too if you don't know how to set that, but there are settings for that.
Okay, well, we're going to sign off. Thank you to everybody who joined us. Again, we're going to send out a replay link so you can rewatch this. Check your email. If you guys, if you're not on the email, you can go to oozlemedia.com, fill out our form, and say you want the replay link. You can get a hold of Rob at salescom.com. I'm C. Linford at Oozle Media. We have these in the chat. Thank you again. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Any last messages, Rob?
Please stay positive. Don't be the guy running in the circle. Don't be the woman running in a circle. Stay positive, you guys. It's all going to be okay. We're going to come out of this stronger than ever.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Were we off?